Janice, are you there?
At your service, sir.
What do we have today?
Uploading visuals, sir.
Because it struck me as extraordinary that Google this week revealed some stats for the year. The number one person whose name followed people Google searching who is in 2022 was Andrew Tate.
Piers Morgan's opening monologue about Andrew Tate exposes the problem with men waking up, winning. Welcome to Manosphere Highlights Daily. Andrew Tate was invited back to the Piers Morgan Uncensored show, and it was Piers Morgan's opening monologue I wanted to highlight because it's pure gold. It says a lot about the paradigm shift that's going on. So without further ado, I'm very hyped up for this one. Now it's time for us to dive into this and do what we have to do. Because we men, ain't we? We men, ain't we?
Well, good evening from London. Welcome to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Have you ever heard of Mr. Beast? What about PewDiePie? How about Keemstar, Logan Paul, Jake Paul? The answer might well be no. You haven't heard of them. But if you've got kids, you will definitely have heard of them. And they most certainly have. They're just a tiny handful of the legions of digital personalities whose videos are viewed by literally billions of young people across the world. Their endorsements are worth millions in sales. Their opinions can instantly reshape conversations in schools, universities, and across social media. They're more influence than most musicians, soap stars, sports stars, columnists, lawmakers. But unlike those power brokers of the past, the politicians and cultural stars who could set the social agenda, these people seem to exist in a parallel universe.
This is where the gold is. The keywords Piers Morgan is using. These guys are viewed by billions of people across the world. They reshape conversations in schools and universities. Fellas, the moment you can reshape things and influence people on a large scale, you are a problem. You are a threat to the established order. Andrew Tate. Social media influencers may have a larger influence than politicians because they have a large following on social media platforms, and their opinion and recommendations can reach a wide audience. In these cases, social media influencers may be able to shape public opinion or influence consumer behavior more effectively than politicians. And as Piers Morgan said in the past, setting the social agenda was only reserved for big cultural stars and politicians. Fellas, we have a voice now. We are being heard. Winning.
These people seem to exist in a parallel universe. Their views go largely unchallenged, shared only as bite-sized clips. Their digital businesses often operate beyond the scrutiny of normal journalists and even regulators. They wield massive influence over young people, and they're restricted only by the ever-changing whims of big tech companies. It makes no more sense than senators or secretaries of state simply never appearing on television.
This is gold, man. I just love the way he explains it because this is a great position to be in. Technology has advanced to the point where you can broadcast from your cell phone. I've been in this space from the beginning of YouTube, and one of the first talking points we had was the wall of silence.
Your Highness, the new king is a U.S. The new king.
You cannot talk!
I disagree with Piers Morgan on his take on big influencers going largely unchallenged. That's where the power of the people comes in. If you talk a lot of crap, or if your product is low quality, sooner or later you will get exposed. That's the power of the response video. Look at Hafiz from The Roommates. He was challenged. Look at Derek Jackson. He was serving these females that feel good Kool-Aid, and the Manosphere debunked all of his crap a long time ago. His content was not viewed by men. But okay, Piers Morgan is talking about the big stage, i.e. mainstream media, debates and interviews like he has on the show.
Well, my guest tonight is a perfect case in point, an example of both enormous digital conquest and the risks that come with it. He's Andrew Tate. His last interview with me has so far been viewed over 8 million times on YouTube alone, 17 million times across all platforms, which is staggering for someone who perhaps you're watching and thinking, who is Andrew Tate?
That's why he's back. Numbers don't lie.
It was a robust exchange. And Andrew Tate was here because he'd effectively been kicked off the mainstream internet for supposed misogyny. His tirades against women were viewed literally billions of times. Well, the first time around, I wanted to find out if he deserved to be banned and if he'd ever actually crossed a line from shocking opinions to genuine hate speech, or if he just didn't fit the ideal model of the platforms that censored him.
This is pure gold. Andrew Tate is labeled a misogynist because Western society caters to women. Women have said and done many disrespectful and hateful things to men, and nobody is canceling them because disrespecting men is considered empowering. This is exactly why Andrew Tate is back on the show, because canceling him is a double-edged sword. You just made him bigger. Like I said before, the power of the people. The people have spoken. If he was truly toxic, if Andrew Tate was really a toxic, misogynistic person, the market would have destroyed him. And here is why. Check this out.
The lively stuff. I also wasn't sure if I should be interviewing him at all. If he was so unpleasant, as so many people said, well, why extend his profile and give him a platform? But the fact is that ship had already sailed. Every teenager in the country knows Andrew Tate. It's just a lot of the parents who don't. And since that interview, Andrew has been returned to Twitter. Its new owner, Elon Musk, is determined to protect free speech online. Many young people, especially boys, have literally stopped me in the street since that first interview to ask me about Andrew Tate. I've been staggered, honestly, by the response that I've had. What does it say about society that people like Andrew Tate can reach so many more people than conventional stars or journalists even? Who gets to decide where the line is and whether people like Andrew Tate cross it? Are they part of a poorly understood movement that panders to teenage rebellion like punk rock or pornography? Or are we exposing young people to new and damaging experiences we often don't see and don't understand? It's a whole new world. There are more questions about it than answers, and we're not going to answer them by pretending it doesn't exist.
It's a whole new world. The paradigm shifted from a traditional society to a modern society. In a traditional society, social norms and values are often passed down from generation to generation and are based on tradition and religion. In modern society, on the other hand, social norms and values are often based on reason and individualism. Just because you said Andrew Tate was a misogynist doesn't mean we can't do our own research and draw our own conclusions. Once again, the people have spoken, and to take it a step further, men and young men have spoken. Men are waking up. They are thinking for themselves, staggering Piers Morgan because people actually like Andrew Tate.
I've genuinely been amazed by the reaction I've had in the streets. Not just here, but I went to Qatar for the World Cup, had the same thing there. A lot of people coming up about Cristiano Ronaldo, obviously, but also a lot of people coming up about you. And they were almost exclusively men, young men, who genuinely see you as a role model, as somebody who inspires them, as somebody they want to be like.
Yeah.
Like I've said before, people like Andrew Tate. That includes women. Tell that to Fox or Vivica Fox. Check this out.
I liked him a lot. I remember when he got cancelled, I said, the only problem with this guy is the fact that he's exposing certain truths and not providing a solution to those who are suffering from it. That's it. Other than that, listen, yeah, he's better looking in person. Yes. Yes, I try to hate on him. He's better looking in person. He's smiley, he's friendly, he's got high energy. He's a good Sagittarius, sunshine in human form. He's actually quite cool. I liked him.
Fellas, we men are experiencing the embodiment of this quote. And I quote, first, they will ignore you. Then they will laugh at you. Then they will fight you. Then you will win. Gandhi.
Yeah, that's quite remarkable. I think there's a whole swath of the population, especially young men, that feel disenfranchised. They feel disenfranchised with the media machine and the things they're supposed to believe. They don't feel an affinity with the educational systems or the culture. And they look at a person like me who stands up and says the things that many young men think. I haven't put a magic spell on the world. The fact that people like what I say means that they agree with me deep inside. They may be afraid to say it themselves, but I am seen as a bastion of free speech and a bastion for masculinity as a whole, because a lot of men are largely forgotten about. Manosphere,
we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.